Hello brothers and sisters, and welcome to yet another video lesson. Now before we get on with the class, I know exactly what you're thinking of. You really love this hoodie. You think this is the best hoodie you've ever laid eyes on, and you want one for yourself. And I do not blame you. How can we get this hoodie? Well, head to the link in the description, go to my merch store, and you can pick out of a huge variety of apparel and find the thing that will best suit you. There's hoodies, there's tank tops for arm day, there's leggings for the ladies doing yoga, squats or whatever. Head to the link on the description and make a hoodie like that, your own. Now I got my capitalist duty out of the way, let's get on with the class. So today we're going to be taking a look at the intro riff from one of my favorite songs out of my new record. The song is called Over and Over and is a definite hard hitter. I mean, if you're in the gym or you want to push yourself real hard, doing physical exercise, this song should be on your playlist. All right, as a matter of fact, let's listen to 10 seconds or so just to get fired up. So when I wrote this song, I kind of started with the chorus. So I had the chorus down and I wanted like a real hard-hitting introduction riff to really grab you by the, grab your attention. And I thought, well, who's the guy whose riffs I admire the most? Only one name came, and it came up pretty quickly too, and this is the name of Nuno Bettencourt. I mean, I love Nuno's solos and all, but his real magic, in my opinion, is in his ability to construct like stories with his riffs, you know, and create beautiful layers for the vocal to sit on. So hopefully you can hear a bit of that influence in the riff. One note, the riff is in drop D. Well, actually, low E is dropped down to D. Everything else is the same. And because the riff is fairly elaborate to play, we're going to be taking a bit of a close-up angle with the camera so you can see exactly what's going on. So without further ado, let's get after it. So the riff has got a sort of B minor, B Dorian kind of vibe. And like I said before, we're dropping the low E string to D. So let's start with the first part of the song, which is this one, and this kicks in on the beat 4 of the count-in. So we got 1, 2, 3, daga daga boom boom. So we got a cool 16-note run there. Bear in mind that much of the song is played with muting, because muting has got this sort of cool percussive effect, and that's really something I got from Nuno quite a bit. He's using it a lot to add this sort of percussive feel to his riffs, so I've kindly stolen that. So we're going to start with the open D, and we're going to play F, then we're going to play G, and then I'm using my pinky to play A. So see, I missed it there. It can be a little bit tricky. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's more like it. Okay, and then we proceed to do. It's sort of like it's a bend, but more of a textural kind of bend. We're not actually changing the pitch, but we're playing F, and then we're playing open D. So all together, 1, 2, 3. All right, take some time to work on that, and we'll move on to the next bit in a second. So the next part also integrates muting with hammer-ons and pull-offs. So I'll play it slowly for you. So what we're doing here is we're playing open A, palm muted, and then hammering on to C, the flat 7 with our middle finger. Then we're playing open D with an upstroke. And then we're doing the same thing, so we're playing open A and hammering on with our first finger to B, which is our 13 or our 6. And then we're playing open D again. So, and then we're going back to the same bit we did in the beginning, so we're kind of gently bending F down, and again this is more of a textural kind of bend, and to open D. So all together, 1, 2, 3. All right, So take some time to practice this part and let's move on with the next part of this riff. So for the third part, we got a variation of the very first riff. I'm gonna play it slowly for you and then we're gonna sort of break it to bits. So what we're doing now, we're starting with low D, playing F, and G, A, back to F, and then playing open D twice. Let's link up everything together and see what they sound like. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you've learned those 3 parts together, this is pretty much the core of the riff. And then we got some variations that are a little bit easier to play. So I think once you get that out of the way, everything sort of becomes a little bit easier. So let's move on with the next segment. So once you've learned the first sort of 3 broken parts of the riff, everything becomes a little bit easier. So we basically have 2 responses that alternate. The first one is, so the riff goes like this. Which is basically playing C, the flat 7, and B, the 6. And then we're doing the same thing and this time we're sort of doing a bend from the flat 3, so F on the D string, the high D string, and to open D. Okay, so you see that if you get sort of the main bit down, everything becomes a little bit easier. So let's call this riff 1. And the next bit riff 2. So what we do is basically in the song, in the intro, we got riff 1, then riff 2, and we're going back to riff 1. And then we have a little bit of a variation of riff 2. So, which is basically the final part of the intro, which sounds something like that. So the last bar of the song is actually a bar of 5. So let's break down the new part. So we got this. So we start with F, so we got flat 3 to the root, then we got C, our flat 7, F on the low D string, 6 to flat 7, so B to C, and then we're playing a little power chord here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sort of play the entire thing, but a little bit slower, so it might be easier to digest it that way. As always, if you're learning something, it's kind of important to just listen to it a few times. So if you enjoyed this intro riff, I'd suggest to kind of listen to it first before you even get to the playing bit, so at least so that you have a better idea of what you're aiming for, basically. So let's try and play it a little bit slowly so you guys can get an idea. Let's check this out. So here we are at the end of the video. As always, thanks for sticking with me. If you enjoyed this video, show it to your grandma, show it to your cousins, and more importantly, subscribe, hit that bell, and share it with your friends. Like I said before, if you want to jam along with a backing track, you can actually purchase it through the deluxe edition of my record, which is available on Bandcamp. Okay, there will be another video dropping next Saturday. Until then, stay healthy, go run, go do some workouts, read some books, say hi to your neighbors if you ever see them, and yeah, see you then.